Hey, good morning, y'all. So let me ask you something. There was a verse that I read this morning that it reminded me of another verse. But what would it take for you to give up on God? What would it take for you to give up on serving Him and on being a follower of His and on doing the things that He would want you to do? What would it take for you to give up on God as it pertains to your kids and your grandkids? So I read this verse. You've probably heard it before. It's 2 Timothy chapter 4 starts and really verse 7 is the one I want to read. Paul says, I have fought the good fight, I've finished the race, and I've kept the faith. Paul says, listen, I've fought, I've battled, I've struggled. I have finished this race of this life, this course, this journey that God has for me. I've completed it. And he said, and through it all, he says, I have kept the faith. Now, it reminded me of this. Now, listen to this. This is over in Corinthians, 2 Corinthians 11. So this is what Paul kept the faith through. He says, are they a minister of Christ? I speak as a fool. I am more. In labors more abundant, in stripes above measure, in prison more frequently, in death often. From the Jews, 5 times I received 40 lashes minus 1. 3 times I was beaten with rods. Once I was stoned. 3 times I was shipwrecked. A night and a day I have been in the deep. I'm in journeys often, in peril of water, in peril of robbers, in perils of my own countrymen, in peril of the Gentiles. I'm in peril in the city, in peril in the wilderness, in peril in the sea, in peril among the false brothers, in weariness and toil, in sleeplessness often, in hunger and thirst, in fastings often, in cold and nakedness. And he says, besides the other things, what comes upon me daily, my deep concern for all the churches. He says, so here I am trying to serve trying to serve God. I've been put in prison. I've been beat. I've been whipped. I've been hit with rods. I've been stoned. Every time I get on a ship, it sinks. I've been hungry, cold. And he says, but he says over in Timothy, I have kept the faith. I have not given up on God. I have not given up on the pursuit of his kingdom and the calling with which he gave to me. Now I want to apply this in a little bit different way. I know many people worry about and struggle with their children, their spouse, their family members, their grandkids or whatever. And oftentimes they'll ask you to pray. Let me ask you something. How diligently have you been in your prayer closet seeking God on behalf of those things that are heavy on your heart? And I mean, really, I mean, how much sleeplessness and how much sacrifice have you made in order to cry out to God on behalf of those people and those situations that are a burden to your heart? How much is too much? How much no sleep is too much for the soul of your children or your grandchildren? How much sacrifice is too much for the soul and the life of your spouse and your family that it stays together? How much is too much when it comes to being who God wants you to be and has called you to be, and when it comes to finding the peace and the grace that God wants to pour into your heart and into your life as you finish the course, as you fight the good fight? Listen, it's a battle. It's a battle. What would it take to get you to stop? How much is too much? At the end of our lives, we want to say, I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race, and I have kept the faith. God bless you guys. Get out there in faith today.